We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Podcast Juice Live here at Google, YouTube, as we normally do every Tuesday night, going around the room. Before I do that, hi, my name is Michael D. Imagine that. Joining me today, live on location, is Mr. Q Storm. How are you, sir?
I just had my Grey Goose, so I'm ready to get into it. Let's do this.
Oh, okay. You ready? Fired up. Next up
man tells no lies, huh?
is Mr. Sean Hill. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, doing well. I was hoping to be seeing Hunger Games tonight, but for some reason they're not screening it for San Diego critics, so I'm here with you guys tonight. Let's do it.
Oh, some kind of conspiracy.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can we finish the intros real quick?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
Next up is Mr. Aunt Pooh. How are you, sir?
I am doing well.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
I'm in recovery, but like Snoop Dogg said, bitches ain't shit.
Wow. All right. Started early. Q Storm, you had a question.
No, I was going to ask Sean, did you see the first and second Hunger Games?
Yeah, I have, and I actually watched the second one again the other day on Sunday.
Then you probably saw this one too.
Wow.
Wow.
I guess you ain't getting that Lionsgate money either.
All right. Let's just get things rolling. There's a lot of things we want to try to get into tonight. It might get a little real tonight. You know, this is good. This is real good. First thing though, just to get it out of the way, especially for some of our Prince podcast viewers out there, you know, the last show that we did, we talked about the Revolution versus Sign of the Times Love Sexy Band. Q, you weren't there last time, were you? You weren't able
I
to
wasn't, but I was listening. You're talking about the Battle of the Bands, right?
Yeah, so I just want to give you an opportunity to.
I was listening to it on my drives today, from location to location. I don't, you know, I never want to try to go toe to toe with you guys, because you guys be talking about the exact clothing that Prince wore in any show. He wore these size boots. I can't hang with that. You guys got it down, but
Who would be your pick?
My opinion, see, I'll put it this way. Any band that's got Prince fronting it is going to be better than anything else out there, okay? But I think Sean kind of touched on this. I got to go with a little bit of nostalgia, and knowing that Prince was at his peak from, you know, the late 70s to the mid 80s to late 80s, I got to go with the Revolution. I got to go with that, just from a nostalgia standpoint. I mean, for me, this is a silly question to say, but you guys were talking about if anyone were to ask you what performance would kind of be a signature Prince performance, Mike, you said you would pull out the June 4th show, 1984.
Yeah.
If someone were to ask me, give me a signature Prince instrumental, I'm pulling out Purple Rain, Dr. Fink's keyboard solo on When Doves Cry, which is still one of the baddest solos. Maybe the only solo that touches it is the solo on Michael Jackson's Bad. I guess it was Rod Temperton that played it. I'm not sure who. But so if I'm going to Dr. Fink for baddest solo around, I got to go with the Revolution.
You know, Fink was. See, this is why we shouldn't have asked him, because you know Fink was in the other band as well.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm talking about the band he was in when he did that solo.
You know, I didn't get a chance to mention.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't get a chance to mention this on the last show when we did this. I interviewed Fink for the blog, and I asked him what was his favorite song that he played during his whole tenure with Prince, and he said that it was playing "Darling Nikki" on the Purple Rain tour was his favorite song to play, which I thought was kind of interesting.
All right. Joining us via audio, Mr. Big Sexy and Sack. How are you, sir?
I'm exhausted, man. I was in a deposition all morning.
Uh-oh.
But it's cool. I got my comic books, so life is good.
All right. Well, welcome, sir. We were just getting started. We were just getting Mr. Q Storm's take on the Battle of the Bands, so he went with the Revolution. I saw that there was some comments on the org. I don't have them in front of me about the show. I don't know.
got it.
What's that?
I brought it up.
Yeah. What was some of the consensus over there, if you can remember?
Well, Controversy 99, he put, that's a tough competition. The Revolution is iconic. They're banned in his top-selling album and in the big movie. The Sign of the Time Love Sexy Band was the band for two of the greatest tours ever. Point for me. Both are on three albums. The Revolution are on more tracks on their albums. I got to go with The Sign of the Time Love Sexy. Live Sexy and Small Club are triumphant moments and show skills beyond the Revolution, but both are great.
No. No. I saw the gas face. Don't give me the gas face, man. I saw that. Now, First Avenue Parade warm-up. There it is. Revolution shut it down that night.
Okay. Well, Cool School said, by Miles, the Sign of the Times Love Sexy Band. Old Friends for Sale said, oh, he's a moderator, by the way. Technically, the Sign of the Times album is connected with the Revolution. The Sign of the Tour Band isn't the Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times Tour Band isn't the Sign of the Times album. As far as the creative experience and bad chemistry, I give it to the Revolution. Ooh, I don't think the 87-89 band had the kind of songwriting creative flow with Prince. That foundation is extremely important. These are my two favorite bands in my favorite period. Outside of Bonnie and Cat, these two bands were jamming together since '84, like at the '85 AMAs, which isn't true. Even Cat said the Revolution was her favorite band. Damn it.
Well, now let's be clear, because we switched it up midstream. Mike switched it up because originally we were just talking about simply the Revolution versus the Love Sexy Sign of the Times band. Now, and then we added basically the Counter Revolution, which is basically Miko and the horns. Now, if we're talking strictly just the Revolution without those components, then I would say Love Sexy Sign of the Times band, easy. But when you add Eric, Atlanta, and Miko, I think that just expanded the band and made them a little bit better.
All right, fair enough. We're definitely going to do another round with some different bands. I don't know if we figured it out exactly which we're doing yet, but we're going to do that very soon. So definitely give us some more feedback. Yeah, go ahead.
I also want to say, and I texted everybody. You were talking about Brown Mark versus who was Levi? Was it Levi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, go to that Purple Rain tour in Syracuse and listen to that breakdown where you just hear the bass. You hear the bass line of When Doves Cry, and that's the period on the end of that conversation.
Whatever, man.
Right. I ride with you on that, actually, though. I agree.
Anybody hear me?
I mentioned that in the show.
Okay.
Whatever. I got two more comments from the org. Joshua Who, which I love that screen name. The MPG lineup from Musicology kills all Prince bands. Case closed. That's neither here nor there, but still. The Dance, he says he disagrees with the MPG, that comment about the MPG lineup, mainly because the Musicology tour wasn't that good and the band wasn't really better than the Revolution Love Sexy. I agree with all of Controversy 99. I already said above. I couldn't say it better. So there you go.
All right. Shout out to those people. Shout out to the people watching us. See you coming in. Two things. You can leave comments on the YouTube link. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment on there and we can see it and we'll read it on the air. Also, if you're at the Hangout page, you can leave a comment on there or question, and we'll also see it and answer it there as well. So thank you for joining us tonight. Let's get into a little bit of background, or behind the scenes news talk that wanted to sort of spill it out on the front. And this is just in a general sort of conversation, but we'll be specific. There was something that happened on Facebook. I believe it was on Anthony's actual timeline. It was a posting to This Is What We Do show, I believe, from over the weekend. And I don't even remember what we were talking about, but one of our listeners, Brian Chester, if I'm saying his name correctly. You already know where it's going. Look at Q's face. But no, so anyway, very serious. So he started going in. I don't have it in front of me, and if you can pull it up, but he was really kind of going in, and he was being disrespectful. He was coming for Q. He's coming for him hard, and he has had some words with Q before online. They have kind of sparred back and forth, and it had the original time. One of the times it kind of got personal. It was talking about people's kids and stuff like that, which is never cool. No. So in this situation,
you want me to read it, or you want to finish?
Yeah, you know what? Before you read it, I got a little clip I want to play because I think this is kind of what's going on right now. Hopefully, this doesn't backfire on me. This is all in fun.
Cause I'm gonna keep it G real. I don't fuck with you cause you disrespecting me. You disrespect my hood by telling me take off my flag, asking how gangster I was, nigga. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz. I told you I ain't got time for that, but nigga, today I got time, cuz.
Today, Q, we got time, Q.
The hell was that?
All right. So, Ampu, if you can go ahead and read some of that.
So this is this was a feedback from our conversation about some of the GOP Dem talk that we was doing, and Brian Chester, he went in on this. Ain't me. He went on. He said this show proved how retarded, bleeding heart liberalism is. Even after being educated and edified, Q Storm still held to his ridiculous beliefs on amnesty, Republicans, and everything else. It's almost like being brainwashed.
Mm. And then what did you jump in and say after that, Q? I don't know if you remember, or do you have it there?
I have it there. Q said, report back to me when you start a podcast and anyone gives a fuck what you think. We got listeners. You got a seat on the far end of
We have one night where there ain't no fight, nobody gets shot.
So no, I tried to play peacemaker and defend Q. I said the only thing I would criticize Q on is his harsh stance against the GOP, as the comments he makes about them can be made towards the Dem. The other two are nuanced stance that I feel there are no wrong or right answers to, and in no way would I call him brainwashed Brian Chester. Then, Q turned on me.
Q pulled out the barrel. Double barrels at that point.
I didn't turn on you. I just said I don't understand why you got it in front of you, but I said something to the effect the Republicans didn't mind taking a harsh stance as soon as Obama walked into the White House. So why shouldn't I take a harsh stance against them?
Yeah, well then Brian, he fired back. Of course Podcast Juice has listeners. I'm one of them. I support the show by buying books and all access passes. I have no interest in starting a podcast, and I'm not sure why you would suggest that I would start one, as you would still be a complete and utter moronic imbecile. You get destroyed each and every show if you keep on trying like the little idiot train that could. Boo ha 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 ha.
Nice dramatic reading there, Ant.
Right.
You wanna read my responses?
His response is, Brian, coming from someone who believes in a white man who lives. I'm not going to read that one.
Oh, you didn't want to read that? That was the one you had a problem with?
Just 1 minute.
Go ahead and read it, man.
Said, Brian, coming from someone who believes in a white man who lives in the sky, you're the one who's completely brainwashed. You're also a very big talker behind the keyboard.
I said some more things.
We don't have to go into it, Brian. I would destroy you. Yeah, this is the one where it got real, where shit got real. Say what you will, Brian. I would destroy you face to face. So until we meet, I refuse to let a dickless typist such as yourself goad me into these vacas.
Come on, Floyd. Come on.
Hey, whatever. Vacuous back and forth. But keep listening and spending your money with us. That's all I give a shit about in regards to you anyway.
Come on, Segway.
We got jokes tonight. Okay, let's see. So the conversation off the page was kind of like, and we've talked about this kind of stuff before, was like there are going to be people that are going to come for all of us at a certain point, right?
They know better. They know better.
Yeah, we're going to say what they say. And we do it. We talk about people. But, I guess the question I wanted to ask tonight is, when is it too far? When do we say, you know what, I'm just going to dust my shoulder and I don't want to, I'm not going to engage? Because in this under conversation we had online, I mean, does anybody win? Does Q win or does Brian win? I'm just kind of wondering what you guys' take on it. What do you think, Q? I mean,
it's very simple for me. This country was founded on disagreements. That's why we have two parties. And my thing is, you can disagree with me, but come at me like you have some goddamn sense. You can, don't. Well, here's how it went down. We were talking about something that had to do with the church. I can't remember. This was probably last year. And rather than come at me, he went on the PodcastJuice page talking to you about, what about that Q Storm? He's this and that and this and that. And I think you told him to watch his step. But I went at him and said, look, you got something to say, I'm right here. We always put out our Twitter IDs and our Facebook IDs, so come at me. If you're a man, come at me. Right. Then when we did what was it? What do you call the show? Place in This World. Subsequent to that, I forget what the issue was, but I was saying something. He mentioned something. What if your kids are so and so, this and that? And I told him to watch his mouth, and he said, "Oh, you was on the show crying about your kids before, or so. You said it was okay for you to say something about them. So why can't I?" And I said, "Excuse my language. The fuck is wrong with you? You don't talk about my kids the way I talk about my kid. Listen, guys. Okay, let me shut it down. Let me pump my brakes.
No.
Y'all know that I am not a thug. I'm not a thug. I'm not hardcore. I'm not a nigga. So on and so forth. I'm not street. None of that. But if you talk about my kids, I'm gonna take a knife to your jugular. Okay? Keep my fucking kids out your mouth." Now I mean that. I'm serious about that.
Right. Now dealing with this time.
All the Q Storm, I put the Q Storm aside for this place in this world. I'll put the fucking Q Storm aside. My name is Michael Jones. Don't talk about my kids, Brian. Okay? That's all I got to say.
And I agree with that. Now, I wanted to go back to the situation that just happened recently. He didn't talk about your kids this time, right?
But he's established a pattern of disrespect.
Okay.
And that's what I have a problem with. I mean, you guys joke with me all the time. I say I like making people laugh. I don't mind. I don't take myself that seriously, but I take my family seriously, and that's off limits. So now calling me a moronic.
Well, one thing I want to say, and Q does not need me to step up and defend him at any step, but Q and I got into a little bit of that recording the other day, and Q, because we're colleagues and we're friends and whatnot, he reached out to me and said, "Hey man, I hope you didn't take that personal." I said, "No, Q, of course not." I said, reasonable minds can disagree. That's the key here. Q and I don't agree on various things, but we are still reasonable men, and it's always respectful. So I don't know this Brian cat, but he's a bit out of pocket here, man. He really is.
Yeah, I agree. I guess my thing is, and I don't disagree with you about anything you said, and but I just know that there's people who are going to be disrespectful, and I'm just kind of like, what are we gonna win by engaging with it all the time? Not to say that we are now, but he's just the first. I'm sure that there will be many. People that have went at me on the org and different places over the years. But like, when do we say, okay, just let it be what it is? Because I kind of felt like he's sort of pulled you sort of out of yourself and had you talking wild online, where it's like he's not going to stop saying what he's saying.
I already said. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to. I said, if you talk about my family, I'm going to stick a knife in your jugular. Yeah, he did pull me So yeah, he did.
Well,
Right.
I'm talking about like the other day. He didn't mention your family. That's what I'm saying. He's just going at you, right? So I was just like, let him. He's gonna go at you, or he's gonna go at me, or whoever. But go ahead.
the precedent is already there. I mean, if you kill someone 20 years later, you still killed that person, even though you paid your debt to society. So what I'm saying is the transgression's already been done. My attitude's not going to change.
Okay. Sean, here, you a little quiet. What's your thoughts?
Well, I was actually just about to jump in. I know I haven't received a whole lot of negative stuff. I mean, I have received it. I guess probably for me is when I I gave a negative review to The Butler last year, and Twitter lit me up. Twitter, and maybe this was Black Twitter that got to me. I don't know. I didn't know there was Black Twitter at the time.
You denied their existence.
No, I didn't deny it. I said I didn't know it. There's a big difference. And honestly, my response to everything that I got was, "Thank you for reading. Thank you for reading. Thank you for reading. Thank you for reading." That was all I said. They may not have liked it. They're not going to change my opinion of the film or whatever my, review is or whatever. You're listening, or reading in this case. That's good enough for me. We can disagree. Keep reading.
But Sean, the only difference is that if I put up a review for Interstellar, or if I put up something that is subjective, then in that case I kind of expect to be gotten at a little bit. Like if I talk about the church, I expect people to come at me. But I still, if someone comes out of pocket, I'm still going to put them in their place. Now, when you talk about family,
well, no, I agree with you 100% on that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, you're putting up I'm saying, no, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just wanting everyone to know I'm a normal person. If I put up a review, I expect some people to disagree with me. So yeah.
No, well, I maybe I downplay. I mean, I got ridiculed. I got name called. You're a black man. How can you give a black movie, a negative review? Blah blah blah.
What does that mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it was stupid to me. I'm like, just because I'm black doesn't mean I have to like.
Was that what I thought it was?
I was just trying to help him with this point, but go ahead.
So wait, am I? Did my ticket get punched?
No.
So, but that I thought that whole thing was stupid. Not your situation, my situation. And I did get called a few names, and I guess maybe they looked at my Facebook profile and saw a picture of my wife, and you can imagine stuff that was said about that, and again, it had nothing to do with anything. I'm just using this specific example. I just didn't like the movie. I didn't think it was that great. It was an okay movie. My skin color shouldn't make me like it even more, and it shouldn't make me like it even less. I don't judge movies like that. So, I guess my point is, Q, hey, he's listening. That's, I think Mike said that, he may not agree, and there's probably some personal stuff, between the two of you, whatever. But hey, he's listening. But you do need to stay not out of pocket though, bro. And I'm talking to Brian, not you, Q.
Let's squash this very simply, because Mike just put up a link earlier today on his Facebook that showed the Guardians of the Galaxy dance-off. There it is. Dance-off. Let's settle this.
Dance-off.
Well, Aunt Pooh, what you think, man? You're a social media expert. How should these situations? What are the best practices in your line of work?
We just ignore it. That's what we do. Ignore it, because nothing comes good when you fighting amongst your consumer, your fan base. Because believe you me, I want to tell all those people that make those statements that I don't like, that some unkind words. We're gonna be political. but I like cashing them checks, so I bite the tongue. Pause.
Lord.
I was supposed to jump in.
I'm not gay no more.
Q, you seem to be in the show twice. I don't know what's going on over there.
Q in stereo.
And we can't hear you right now. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me?
There you are. There you go.
I'm on a Holiday Inn. I was using my cell phone as a hotspot. Now I'm using my Wi-Fi. Hopefully that'll be better.
All right. All right.
Motel, hotel,
So,
holiday.
I missed everything.
All right. Your connection's a little fuzzy there, but Big Sexy. I mean, you're the lawyer.
Yes, I am.
What's your take on this sort of a situation?
Well, when you have people, and this applies to all of us on the panel here, we are, for lack of better phrases, we are public figures now. And that means we have to take a certain modicum of, shots from the people. Now, having said that, again, Mr. Chester's a little out of line here. Feel free to disagree with Q or myself on anything, and we can talk about it because this is what we do. But the personal attacks, nah, man, that's not cool. But again, this is a First Amendment issue, and since there is no regulation by any government regulatory body, a person can say what they want, but to borrow from Ice-T, freedom of speech, but watch what you say.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Because don't say nothing, that you're not prepared to deal with, if somebody steps to you. And again, I don't know Mr. Chester at all, but I know Q is, messing with the black belt, and hey, I would be hesitant to, step to somebody with a black belt who's not happy. So let's just slow your roll, man. Slow your roll.
Well,
you know what? I was gonna say this is a perfect segue to go if you want, Mike, to go into. I don't know if you guys saw the Wendy Williams, all the tweets that.
Oh yeah.
When it heard about the Aaliyah movie.
was it that bad?
Yes.
I didn't watch it. If we want to get into it, I'll explain why.
Can I give the last word to Q on this?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Is that supposed to be telling me that I need to be nice to everybody because we're trying to start a business here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just remember,
we got your back. We just having fun. We got your back though.
No. I before we transition, I just want to say, I just can't stand posers. I can't stand posers, and to me, Brian Chester is a poser. He's a fake ass poser.
Here, go ahead. You got say what you want to say. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. Just just come at me respectfully, and it's all good.
Q, repeat after me.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
That's Michael Dean's line.
Well, hopefully at the end of the day, it's going to be all our lines because this is bigger than either one of us, and we all here united together. And yes, Q, when they come for your family, it's on and popping, and we'll stand by you all the way. Still stand by you regardless. But I'm just saying, you know what? It's probably better to not get caught in the moment. So when it does get hot and the fire's hot, this is what I think is a suggestion. We should be like, you know what? Let's get together on the chat amongst the brothers. And man, we got issue over here. And before I go ham on this guy over here, let me just let y'all know, because this could affect everybody, right? It's just like, I think Big Sexy mentioned this. We talked about something a couple months ago, or we were talking about like I think we were talking like Sterling or something. And it was like his advisors or his team would be like, yo, you can't say this out there. You got to frame it this way. Go talk to the lawyer first, because you can say something out there, what I'm saying, it could bite you a little later or whatever. So all I'm just saying is, if we get attacked and it's that serious, hold up for a second. So let me go holler at my peoples. So see how we can best deal with this clown, whether we just ban him or we just say thank you, but whatever, you know what I mean? Or we just stand united on whatever it is that we do. He did come for you, and you know what we'll do next time, hopefully, is just go on and delete that madness. Just delete it. And you're like, nah, we ain't got time for no negativity. Get them out of here and keep it pushing. Now, you got the last word. Go ahead.
Like Ampu just said, all that translation, this is a business. That's all that is, Mike.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to explain it a little deeper, but yeah, that.
Shut up.
All right. Okay. Let's get off of that. And let me be clear. I shout out to Brian Chester because you're taking the time to listen. But yeah, you want to watch your mouth. We are men here, right? And the thing about it is too. We're all brothers, man. We're supposed to be brothers, right? So I mean, god damn, if we're gonna attack each other, calling each other imbeciles, man, pump your brakes on that kind of stuff, man. Come on now. All right, let's get on another one of our elders. Mr. Cosby. Exactly. But I think there's been another two people that came out the woodwork in the last 48 hours. One of them being...
This is like Tiger Woods Part 2.
Yeah.
Everybody. I was raped too. I was raped.
Janice something or other. I don't know.
Janice Dickinson.
Janice Dickinson. Yeah, I know she's a model or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I sort of got into a word of words with somebody on, one second, got into a word with somebody on Facebook just a few minutes ago, about all these allegations. Is it a money play? Is this and that and the other? And I want to give my stance and I want to get the brothers to weigh in on this. Me personally, I don't know if he did it or not. Wasn't there. There's a lot of people coming forward. I don't know if it's money plays or they trying to jump on the bandwagon. But I say this, to me, I have to say, there's smoke, there's fire. Like, it just seems interesting that there's like 14, 15 women who have these allegations. Maybe some of them are fake, but even if it's just one that's real, that's disturbing. Like, I don't know what to think, man. The only thing I can think about it is that he was out there running the streets with these women, I guess cheating on his wife, going hard. And maybe he didn't pay them off properly, or some of them got mad, or whatever it is. But now it's coming back to kind of bite him on the ass a little bit. And my only true thing about it is, I can't take things that he says seriously because he made a point to preach to the people, particularly black people, about this is what you got to do, live your life. You know, and but if you're doing dirt and you cheating on your wife and stuff, doesn't that call into question your morals? Like, maybe you should slow down and fix your situation first before you can try to condemn everybody else. So I was just I feel some kind of way, as they say on the street. Aunt Pooh, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Man, I don't know. Man, I don't know. Say they so, Bill. Come on, Uncle Bill. But two things on that. One of the people that accused him of raping her, she ended up working for him for like 13 more years after the alleged allegation, which I'm like, how does that work? Right. You said he raped you and then you work for him? Like, okay, I guess money can make you get over a lot of things. And then with this Janice Dickinson, something don't sound right with her story. She's talking about, first of all, in the story she said that Bill Cosby sent for her because he had a job offer for her. Which I went giggity when I heard that. But then she's talking about that she woke up and she noticed that her pajamas were off. And I'm like, wait. You went to see him in your pajamas, or you came with an overnight bag? How did pajamas come into this? How you go visit Bill Cosby and next thing you know you're talking about your pajamas? Like, something don't seem right with this story. It just seemed like attention. A lot of it seems like a lot of attention whore, and I hate to be that way. I mean, until somebody to put some on trial, put all that information out there. I'm gonna go with hearsay, especially when one of the people that made this alleged allegation against him ended up working for him for another 10, 13 years. Something don't sound right with any of this.
All right, hope we're going to pump brakes on that real quick. So I do want to put this on there. This is just a comment just left right now. Somebody's watching. It says, Q Storm, full applause about how you won against old boy on Facebook. On Michael Dean's Facebook, I've had to keep myself from calling dude out of his name and playing the Coon Train music for some of the stuff he said to me or about you or about black folks and their morals, and particularly on the subject of religion, out of respect of it being someone else's page. Dude is often way out of pocket, and nothing makes wing nuts butts hurt more than calling them out on their BS. It's one thing to disagree, but when you start getting out of pocket, all bets are off. If dude truly does believe in God and his ability to heal the ills of the world, then he needs to be delivered. Put a T at the end of that. From that foulness. At least someone give him the 8-ball jacket justice.
Can I respond very briefly? Then we'll get back.
Go ahead. Q.
Q. Q seems to be frozen.
I think
just supporting Doc Claw. He's been down on Twitter and on Facebook and everything. He's cool. But I do want to say yes.
Q. Can you start over? You had disappeared on us, so we didn't hear you.
Really? I just wanted to say that I'm down with Doc Claw. He's been a supporter for quite a while, and I'm with him. I just wanted to say real briefly that I don't want to do the coon train thing. Even though I might feel, part of me feels like that might come into play. I don't want to, just because he's conservative or Republican, I fully support black people who want to be conservative or Republican. I think it's healthy. It shows that we're not a monolithic culture. I just have a problem when you try to come at me like I don't know shit and you know everything. You're no smarter than I am. So that coon train stuff, I'm gonna put that to the side. I don't want to go there on anybody, even if I disagree with him.
All right. So going back to Mr. Cosby, Mark, Mr. Big Sexy.
I fully support black people.
Well, the thing is, as we've all said, Mr. Cosby has not been accused in a criminal matter. I question the timing of all of these people coming forward. Again, I was not there. I don't know. But if a person, and I'll use Janice Dickinson for this portion, she proclaims to be the first supermodel and blah, blah, blah. And she's been in the public eye pretty good for a lot of years, at some level or another. And now she comes out, yay, right, me too. Right there, that strains credibility. As to the first one who started this, again, 1,000 years ago. Now, let's be real clear here. In the penal code, in any state, rape is the most reprehensible thing a person can do. Flat out. So for a person to make that allegation, 10, 20, 30 years after the fact, that's not going to hold any water. If something that deplorable has happened, you got to come out immediately and get on the tallest building. Yeah, this fucking guy did it. That didn't happen here. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, when you have any man, unfortunately, who just gets that finger pointed at them, even though they're completely exonerated down the line, that stink does not come off. You are irreparably damaged behind this. So these are serious allegations, but and Mike, I got to disagree with you on this one point. I see a lot of smoke, but I ain't seen no flames yet. All I'm hearing is about, well, he did this, he did that. 30 years ago he did this and did that. Where were you 30 years ago? Where were you 10 years ago? No. And after the first one, which may or may not be credible, I don't know, but now you've got this gravy train and people piling on as well. No, that's just wrong. He's being crucified in the court of public opinion with shaky evidence at best. This is wrong.
All right, Q-Storm, what do you think?
Well, I guess Bill Cosby likes vanilla over chocolate, huh? Look at all this
oh, here we go. Here we go.
I don't believe it too. I mean, he was all about on this show wearing, HBCU sweatshirts and promoting black African American diaspora art and black jazz and this and that. But when it came to his women, boy, shoot. I got jungle fever. Okay, anyway. I tend to kind of agree with Big Sexy. I mean, you look at Bill Cosby, you look at Michael Jackson, you look at all these other, I would say, people of color that are celebrities, and whether you're a person of color or not. I mean, Big Sexy, you put it so aptly just now. it's not right to be tried in the court of public opinion. I mean, that's what our court systems are for. And I saw something today where someone actually dug up an old 1969, I want to say, recording of a Bill Cosby stand-up, and he was joking about Spanish Fly, which was very popular back in the 60s and 70s. And so it was kind of reason that someone might do a bit about it, but they brought it back to say, oh, he was joking about drugging women back then. So I don't know. Bill Cosby is a weird guy. I've met him twice, and he is. And I told you the story about the last time I met him. He is a strange.
I'm not gay no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got this little audio thing on my, so I'm just going crazy with it. I'm sorry.
Well, I think Bill's proven he's not gay.
But have you?
But yeah, so I don't know. I tend to agree. I tend to agree with Big Sexy. I think he's being tried unfairly, and it's not fair. I can't ride with it.
All right, Sean Hill. Let me change it up for you. Let me just add another element into this, if I can.
Okay.
Guy living next door to you.
Here we go.
You know how to do it. Guy living next door to you. You found out there's been some allegations that he's a rapist or some sexual type of stuff. Now you're not in the court of law, and you know that you hear that. Hey, based on the law, he can't be tried for that, right? Statute of limitations or whatever. But you don't know any more than what this situation is. Are you taking a pause in terms of him being around your family, or are you just like, nah?
No, I would definitely, be vigilant. Not do anything stupid, but making sure the doors are locked, making sure I know where Palmer is at all times. Make sure the business knows what's going on. I was gonna say, you guys remember the Chappelle skit he was doing, black people serving on the jury, Michael Jackson jury, and they asked him, so despite all the evidence we have against Mr. Jackson, you don't believe these allegations? And he goes, Mike made Thriller. Thriller. That's how I feel here. Bill Cosby made Fat Albert. So the same guy that made Fat Albert the same guy that made Fat Albert is raping and drugging and raping women. And I guess I agree with Big Sexy, the timing, because now, I don't know what his financial worth is now, but you would have thought that these allegations would have come out during the Cosby Show run. That's where he was, 83, 84 till about 89. That's when he had his, most power and, most bank. So, if you want to, try to extort some money from the man, that would have been the time to do it. Not now. I just don't understand if in fact these things did happen back then, why didn't anyone come forward? Or maybe they felt sorry for him after seeing Leonard Part 6 and just said, what, this guy is suffering.
Nah, Sean, that's not. Sean, that's not right. That's not right at all, man. It's after they saw Ghost Dad. Come on.
Ghost Dad. I'm sorry.
Wait. I like Ghost Dad though.
Of course you did.
Again, let me make sure I include the listeners. I want to add another comment from Ken Cole. He's watching. He says, "Gents, it takes a nerve to put yourselves /opinions out there in the social media bubble. I admire you for doing it. There are going to be those who feed the fire and invite negativity. Ignore it. It's incumbent on all of us to keep it respectful. Podcast Juice is on the positive side of this equation. Who's got the podcast and people tuning in to hear your show? Enough said." All right,
I'm glad
shout out to Ken.
I'm glad we.
Thank you for listening.
I'm glad we told her that she thinks that we positive.
On the Bill Cosby thing again. Like I said, I don't know if he did it. I'm to me, I'd be uncomfortable though, like coming to women. I kind of do wish we had a woman's point of view. Shout out to Diana. I see your comments. But, it's like, man, just because it was 30 years or whatever it was, it doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen though.
Right.
And if it was just one or two people, I would kind of be like, yeah, he did this, or yeah, it's against our character, or at least with the characters he plays on TV, because we don't know the man. But it's so many different people, and I don't know all the data. Like, are they somehow related to each other, or do they know each other? How do the stories seem similar? I know some of these women seem like they're in the industry. I can imagine the fear of being blackballed, or you're going against Cosby. Are you crazy? We can't act like that would not be sort of a factor to somebody not coming forward too. I mean, come on, let's be clear. Like, that's Bill Cosby, right? So I don't know, man. It's just funny. He also declined to speak about this, right? He was interviewed on NPR recently, and the guy ended up asking him at the end. He's like, anything to say about the allegations? And he didn't say anything. I guess he just shook his head. And then I think his lawyers put out a statement the next day, saying that he's not going to address the situation, which is his right to do. Not mad at that. But again, like I said, to me, if it was somebody and it wasn't famous like Bill Cosby, and I don't have any sort of positive cachet to him because he's on the screen, I'm influenced by media, I would do it just like anybody else on the street. I'm good, homie, until I know what the hell's going on. Not around my people, because I don't know. And so I ain't going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you no doubt. Right? And be like, that's your issue. You got to clean your issues up. He may be. But go ahead.
You know how when you hear something about somebody, you can go, oh yeah, I can see that. If this was say Richard Pryor, if we heard this about Richard Pryor, you go, oh yeah.
Damn.
Well,
I'm just using that example. But
sure.
Bill Cosby, you go, it's almost like the Michael Jackson that you don't want to believe it.
Right, because it goes against everything that we think about him, right? That you wouldn't think that he's a player, because obviously he thinks he's some sort of Mac, right? Because he got all these women he's been doing on the side, but he presents himself as a family man to us in the media. So yeah, it's hard for us to go against the image that he presented. Right. He's obviously nothing like what we think. Rape or not, take the rape out of it. He thinks he's a Mac, right? So I have an issue with that personally, because you can't preach to me if you out here playing games.
Right. Sean, have you ever seen the documentary Comedian? It starred Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, I have seen it.
Do you remember when he met Bill Cosby?
Oh gosh, no. Go ahead, refresh my memory.
Well, I bring that up to say Bill Cosby. People have to understand what he presents to the public is I'm not saying anything to say he's guilty or not. How he behaves is how he behaves, has nothing to do with whether these allegations are true. But people understand Bill Cosby presents a persona to the public. Behind closed door, I'm sure that dude is raw. Like I said, I've met him twice. And on that, if you remember the characters he played in Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again, Piece of the Action.
Hello.
He's using all kinds of followers, which he says there's nothing better when you got your shit together, man. He's talking straight. I mean, he's talking hardcore. He's not this wholesome family dude I'm just saying, behind closed doors. I don't think he is at all. I could see where he might be in a situation where he's what?
Recluse?
He's a recluse?
Yeah. Come on, man.
No,
Eddie Murphy Raw.
Segue.
You lost me. I'm sorry. You lost me.
So Q. So you're saying the trilogy, the Sidney Poitier movies, his persona in those movies is more real. It is the real him versus the Cliff Huxtable is more of the fake persona type vibe.
I'll give you two. Well, let me just say this thing. On the set of the Cosby Show, I remember reading this. he got his James Brown on. He insisted everyone call him Mr. Cosby. So right there, you know you're dealing with someone who's no joke. If you go back to Let's Do It Again, there's two scenes that I think epitomize what the real Bill Cosby is. The very first scene when he's driving that forklift and Jane Kennedy walks by and he's checking her out and crashes into the to the side of the wall. That's Bill Cosby. There's a scene where they're at a restaurant and it's him, Sidney Poitier, and their two wives. And he's going in on his wife saying, yeah, shoot, when we get back to the hotel room, I'm going to lay it on that crack, baby. I'm going up in that. It's fucking crazy. That's Bill Cosby. I think you remember that scene, right?
Yeah.
That's Bill Cosby. I think that's the real Bill Cosby.
Yeah, and I guess now he has a special coming on Netflix or something like that. And then also some sort of series on.
I think the series is canceled. That NBC. I think I think they are not moving forward. That also I think the Netflix deal too.
Man, see, yeah, that's sort of started to hitting that pocketbook. And as we talked about before, a lot of these big companies, man, they're not gonna gamble on nobody's nothing. They're going for strictly where the money's at. So that's why I said, man, hopefully he can clean it up or something can come to light. But they're going at him hard. I guess we just have to sit back and watch. Go ahead.
I don't want to jeopardize this because I know Big Sexy hasn't said much, so I'll concede the floor after I say this. But I honestly think Bill Cosby is done. And I think he's done because I think white folks will now look at him differently, and they're the ones with all the cash, like you just said. No one will want to associate with him or have anything to do with him. And black folks will be done with him because of all that stuff he said, which was right, back in 2004. So I think his career.
I don't think so because you know black folk are ready to bring OJ back into the family. He just ran to Florida with the rest. Like, yeah, I'm not coming back. I may be a nigga, but I ain't gonna be with y'all niggas. And Michael Jackson, people thought Michael Jackson was trying to be white, that he was too strange, he was too out there. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I would have believed that he did do that. You know, in the mid '90s, I believe that he did do that. By 2000, 2002, when I became a little more educated and realized, okay, Michael just on a different level, I didn't believe it. But Michael Jackson, when everybody thought that he wasn't about the black people anymore, the moment he got into all that trouble, they welcomed him back onto the community. So yeah, Cosby will be back.
Michael Jackson and who's the other person you mentioned?
OJ.
OJ Simpson. They never did a cross-country tour with Dr. Poussaint talking about how black people need to clean their shit up. They didn't lecture the black folks. So I think that's a huge difference.
That's true, but then black folk be like, yeah, all right, nigga. See, you try to talk all that shit. Come on back. You better take us how we is, because they ain't taking you. You know, ain't nothing more than telling somebody, told you so.
Okay, Michael Dean. Remember the show, I think you know this show, Morton Downey Jr.? Remember that talk show?
Yeah, of course.
Remember when, I forget the brother's name, he's from, he spoke with an African accent, and he represented Harlem. He was a Harlem, I can't remember his face.
Niger Ennis.
Yes. He got on Morton Downey Jr. and started lecturing the black folks. And I remember this one brother got in the audience and said, you better get some bodyguards when you leave this place, because you going to get dealt with. You ain't welcome in Harlem no more. You might as well pack. And he stood up and said, I'll leave. If you don't want me, he didn't say F you, but he said something similar. He said, he said, you want to meet me outside? Meet me outside. So I remember that clearly. We're not, I know we're supposed to be forgiving people, but we don't like to be lectured to.
Q, you're kind of breaking up on us, sir. But one thing, Bill got a lot of money. Bill got money, so he probably don't got to work no more. He giving away stuff nowadays. So.
Yeah.
Going to go back to the Aaliyah thing you mentioned earlier.
I was going to because
wait, hold up, guys. I got some breaking news for you.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, niggas. Courtesy of the Rap.com, X-Men Apocalypse who's being eyed to play young Jean Grey and Cyclops. They're saying that they're looking at Elle Fanning, Oscar-nominated actress Haley Steinfeld, and kick-ass hit girl Chloe Moretz for Jean Grey.
No.
All right.
I'm feeling her. I'm feeling Chloe Moretz. She's
No.
no. And for young Scott Summers, they're looking at Ben Hardy, Charlie Rowe, and Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet was just at Interstellar, which I missed him, I guess. And Charlie Rowe is
who was he in Interstellar?
I have no idea. I seen the guy's picture, and I'm still like, who the fuck were you? So that's what the Wrap was reporting. And if you couldn't get enough Interstellar, apparently in the December issue of The
How is
Wire.
this nigga gonna just jump over the Aaliyah thing with the second time?
No, I'm just giving you this news. And
I know, but it will probably wait till. We'll come back to the next one. Hold the Interstellar part, right?
all right.
Because we got a comment, so I wanted to make sure that we include that as well. Rockabash, shout out to Rockabash. He's watching us. He says the ending of the Aaliyah movie, with Aaliyah waving to Damien Dash and not showing how she died, was definitely typical of Lifetime biopics. I actually think Hollywood producers have scripts ready to go on musicians, waiting for musicians to croak to greenlight the picture as soon as possible. Wanted to go back to what you were saying earlier, Sean, about Wendy Williams. She came out on her show today, I believe, and
What did you say?
addressed people talking about her, and she basically said, well, it was the second highest watched cable show on Lifetime or something. A lot of people watched it, so whether you didn't like it or not, it was successful. So there you go. Like, okay.
A lot of people watched the OJ Chase thing too.
Watched who?
OJ Bronco Chase. How'd that work out?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
I know. I saw a tweet from Rocka. He was curious of my take on the movie, and I didn't watch it. I had no interest in it. Actually, generally TV movies just don't really interest me because they're limited in what they could tell as far as story, and I don't mean bad language and that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about they've got an hour and 30 minutes to tell a story, and they have to try to squeeze as much into that as they possibly can. They have to have beats, because they got to do the commercial breaks. But the biggest thing, and I know you guys saw this, was the casting. They cast a skinny person as Missy Elliott. She looked like a model. And when I was flipping through, I'm like, that's Missy. That's supposed to be Missy. And the same with Timberland. I mean, I don't know if she's addressed that issue, but I mean, that's not even. We won't even talk about the not having the music, which that was another reason why I wasn't interested in seeing it. But you got to get the casting right. You don't have to, get someone as big as Missy was back then, but at least a general representation of what she looked like back then.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this photo of who they cast as Missy Elliott. They have the actress and Missy side by side, and it's a joke. Not only is she thin, but she's light skinned.
Light skinned, yeah. I didn't want to bring that up, but
let's bring it up. I mean, hey, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't watch the movie, and then after hearing about how bad it was, I really, really don't have an interest in seeing it. And, I'll wait for the big screen if the family's wishes can come true with that, because I know that's what they're kind of holding out on is a big screen treatment of her life. Now I don't know if her life story is big screen worthy, but who knows?
Yeah, I saw maybe 30 minutes of that show, and when they got to the part with the R. Kelly, I was like, this is ridiculous. He looked like, I don't know who he looked like, but he did not look like R. Kelly, nor did he have...
Someone said he looked like Chauncey.
Chauncey.
From Blackstreet, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, you know what, he did kind of. It was horrible. I mean, I was just watching, I was like, this is a joke or something? Like, to me, and from the pictures and the clips I've seen, I almost question like why they put that out. They had to know that it was terrible. Like, did you watch it, Ant?
You know I did. That thing was horrible. I mean, the casting. You know what? I will take the casting aside because you know what? Angela Bassett looks nothing like Tina Turner. Let's just be honest. For the better. No disrespect. Okay, Denzel did kind of look like Malcolm X. But I'm going to take the casting aside. There was some egregiousness. I'm going to talk about that fucking script. That script was horrible. I mean, it was like every line that they said was like a soundbite that they wanted to use for a commercial. It just was no believability. There was no emoting. It was just like, and then there were lines where there was exposition. Like there was a scene where she in the club with her, Aaliyah's in the club with her homegirl. He's like, yeah, why are you moved to New York? Well, my family's from New York. Oh yeah, that's right. Plus it's closer to Dane. And you just like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Who talks like that?
Well,
nobody talks like
that. See, that's the limitation. That's the limitation of a TV movie because again, they have to compress a lot of And here we're talking about a person's life. They got to compress that into basically an hour and a half because they got 30 minutes of commercials. So they got to do that exposition dialogue that doesn't make any sense to anybody.
I would give them a pass on that if I hadn't seen that very good TLC VH1 movie. It's like
very good.
It's funny checking.
I don't know if it's very good.
It was good, but here's the thing that made it better than this movie was that they had the music.
That too.
I mean, you can't tell this story or anybody's story that's a music artist and not have the music. Like I haven't seen the Jimi Hendrix thing, but it's why even do that if you can't get the music?
No disrespect to the actress that played Aaliyah, but she can't act. She was terrible. I don't know if it was the writing, that script, or she just can't act. All of them were horrible. Maybe.
Well, we're talking about a TV movie, so it's not like they're gonna get great actors and actors.
TV movies are good.
Well, but Michael Jackson, the Jacksons had Angela Bassett. I mean, that was a good TV movie.
Wait.
Jackson's
miniseries. Yes.
Whoa. The Jacksons had Angela Bassett before she was Angela Bassett.
No.
She was opposite Lawrence Hilton Jr.
No, she was in Malcolm X. She was in Malcolm X.
Yeah,
she was not that well known for being a Malcolm X.
Well, she had already done Tina Turner at that time.
No.
You sure?
No,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was 90. Really? That was like 94, 95.
Okay. Point being is they still were able to get good actors. They were able to get good actors.
Some of the actors were. Yeah. Some of them were.
Can I tell a quick story? The guy that plays Michael Jackson as the adult, the Thriller Mike, as I call it, I went to high school with him.
I liked him.
He was 1 year. He passed away shortly after that, actually, leukemia. But when he did the Billie Jean, he used to do that all the time at school. He would do talent shows, and he would do the Motown 25 Billie Jean thing. So when I saw it on the show, I'm like, and his name was Wiley. I'm like, there go Wiley doing Billie Jean again. It was kind of weird just seeing him, do that. And I ran into him at Walmart of all places probably about 6 months before he passed. And of course, me, I'd like, hey man, what was it like? Did you meet Jermaine? Did you meet Michael? Did you meet Billy D? And and he was like, yeah, Sean, I met them all. And yeah, but sad that he passed. But yeah, so that was kind of cool that he got to do that. He got to live his dream because he had always wanted to be Michael Jackson. He was always wearing the hair and the glove at school and all of that. So.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because that movie, it had Holly Robinson in there. She wasn't a A-list celebrity, but she was a known actress. It had Vanessa L. Williams in there, and it had Billy D. Williams. So they had some decent.
Vanessa's my girl. Love her.
But they also had the money behind it too to get the story. I mean, it was Jackson's sanction. So they. And Mike was still alive there too, so I'm sure he was writing the checks. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Well, I don't know how much money the Naughton family has, but I'm sure they can't afford top-notch actors and actresses and script writers and all that good stuff.
Well, they didn't want to have anything to do with this film. That was the problem right there.
Well, that's what I mean. So it was funny.
Just to be clear, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just to be clear, we're talking about the biopic that ended when they were on the victory tour, not the one with Flex Alexander, right?
God, no.
Okay.
Woo! I
don't think either of them were that good, but the one with Flex was That was horrible.
The one with Flex was the same level as this one that came on with Aaliyah.
Yeah, because they couldn't get the music. They couldn't get the music either for that, and so they've got this pseudo kind of sounding Billie Jean thing. He's I don't even remember him singing. I think he's just dancing, and they made it. And Q, you can relate to this. They made it look like they put black lights out in the audience, so you hear a crowd noise. Right. But you don't see no crowd out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big Sexy, did you see this?
Did I see what?
Did you see the Aaliyah movie at all?
No.
No.
Big Sexy somewhere like, what the hell is an Aaliyah?
All right.
Big Sexy like, I saw an Aaliyah crawling in my sink and I killed it.
Shout out to the Aaliyah fan base and family. We love you. Going back to Ampu, there was something about Interstellar you had.
Yes, apparently in the December issue of Wired, there will be an Interstellar prequel comic, which is officially written by Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
Really?
I have to catch that online because I don't buy magazines.
I think that's kind of interesting. Apparently, it's going to delve into what happened when the first missions, the Lazarus missions, and with Dr. Mann, when they went through the wormhole.
I saw that movie a second time, and 70 millimeter IMAX, and I still like it. It has its flaws, but one thing I noticed at that theater was the sound was even more egregious. We talked about the sound sort of issues that they had, and now I come to find out Nolan specifically said I did the sound like that on purpose. I made it so you couldn't hear them in certain parts. It was sort of a thing I wanted to try. If it worked, it didn't, but that was a decision to do, as I think there had been some theaters whose the audience started complaining. I think it was Cinemark theater chain. One of them had put a sign out the door and said, "Hey, our speakers are fine. The movie's mixed that way. It's not our fault." So I think he may have made a mistake, but I admire him taking a risk to try something different. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But
one thing Q had mentioned, I think when we reviewed it, was the score. And I've read a lot of people said the score was really intrusive. I gotta admit, I don't recall that at all. Maybe it's just because of years and years of watching movies and kind of drowning the score out, not really paying attention to it. But I don't even remember the score and whether or not they were, because I think you said play some notes or something like that.
No, actually, he doesn't. When his scores are all like, sometimes they're what's the term? He doesn't do melodies. He does music beds, which are frequently there's a word, atonal. I can't remember. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it just didn't bother me. I mean, I guess like I said, I'm used to tuning the score out. That's usually the least interesting part of most films. So.
All right, let's jump into a Prince thing real quick, and then we might wrap it up. Sinead O'Connor, excuse me. She recently was interviewed. I think this is on the Daily Mail, and I wanted to read this one little part. She talks about Prince. I thought this was interesting. It says, although her last meeting with Prince in the early 90s didn't go well, she's quoted as saying, "We had a fist fight." She says, throwing a convincing combination of air punches. There was quite a scene. I ended up having to escape from his house. I was running around his car spitting at him, and he was trying to box me all at 6 o'clock in the morning. I rang on someone's doorbell to get in their house because Prince was going to kick the living shit out of me. Says the row happened because he summoned me to his house to tell me that he didn't like me swearing in my interviews. I told him to go F himself, and it all went downhill from there. She says he's a very, very frightening person. His windows are all covered up in tinfoil because he doesn't like light. He sat by the door of his house, and true to God, the irises of his eyes dissolved. They didn't move up or down, left or right. They dissolved. The entire of his eyes became white. I know very well what it was. The man is dealing with some seriously evil shit.
That bitch is high. I was with her for a second, but she high.
She basically said this. He turned into like what some vampire evil. Come on now.
She said that reminds me of The Strain. You know how the vampires when they go ham, the eyes click.
She turned into a Segoy.
Yeah. Yeah, she needs to just. What do I say? Have a seat. Far end of that damn bench.
Her career was over once she ripped up the picture of the Pope on SNL.
Yeah, did her in.
She hadn't been, shit since. I could care less. I don't even believe that. That doesn't even make sense. So first of all, Prince got neighbors, so she just go run over the next door house. Hey, Prince trying to get. So I'm sure the neighbors hadn't signed a confidentiality agreement. We would have been heard of this. Move it along. Nothing to see here.
My thing is like people say that it would kill the career was tearing up that picture of the Pope. It's like in hindsight now, it's like, well, she was kind of on the right.
Well, I ain't gonna touch that one.
Agree. I don't have any problem with her tearing up the picture of the Pope, to be honest. But it did help her career.
No, we know now. Like, yeah, she was in the right. Fuck that dude.
It's not a question about being right or wrong about the Pope. It's a question about somebody having a mouth off, and a career for songs she didn't write. And then trying to rip, and trying to rip the guy who wrote it. Get out of here, man.
There's a lot of people who have songs that.
Wait a minute, what did she say about Prince?
Well, let's see. He wrote her one hit, and he didn't write it for her. So let's get that clear. Okay. And now she's running around saying that we had a fist fight at 6 a.m. Get the fuck out of here.
I believe they had a fight. I don't believe about the eyes change. Well, I've heard this. Actually, I remember meeting somebody who worked at Paisley Park, and he told me about when she came out there, and there was some big argument or something. He didn't go into specifics, but he said, yeah, they was getting into it. So I don't doubt that something happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, a verbal argument, I can't see, a fist fight.
Why would he get into a verbal argument with Sinead O'Connor?
What a crazy woman,
It's like we said about Bill Cosby. Like, there's a Prince image, but I've had people tell me that have been with him. He's a militant type of dude, so I can imagine he's older than her, and he probably didn't care for her covering the song. He might have had some words for her. You never know. She might not have took it right, but it doesn't surprise me.
Well, she's right to begin with, so yeah, I can see that.
Man, I just stop the slander of Sinead O'Connor. That is a beautiful rendition of that song.
Bullshit.
No.
What? Even you, Sean, at 2?
Even me, yeah. At 2, at 3, at 4.
Man. I mean,
what?
You said in the Prince podcast, in the Prince review that, what did you say? That Cat gave Prince his moves. Uh-oh. You said, what was the other crap you said? Now you're talking about Sinead O'Connor did a better version of Nothing. You said you've been saying that all along, though. Dude, come back to the. Don't turn to the Sith. Come back to the bright side, bro.
Maybe he need to sit closer to the coaches and not at the far end of the bench.
Well, if you're going to go there, Sean, at least I'm in the league to be on the bench, homie.
What?
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, I said it. Prince's dance moves prior to working with Cat were they're
Did you not ever?
There, man? Shit.
Did you not see the any of the like the Syracuse Baby I'm a Star? I mean, that's just raw dancing right there. The cat stuff is good, but it's choreographed.
It's choreographed.
Okay, what is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I just said that. I said the Baby I'm a Star stuff was more in the moment. You can watch 3 of those performances, and I'm just using Baby I'm a Star as an example. I've seen Syracuse, I've seen Atlanta, and there's one other that I've seen, and each of those performances are different, and the dancing is different.
I will direct you to the Love Sexy from the Love Sexy song during the Dortmund concert, where he does that little breakdown before they go to Glam Slam. Dude was killing it. He was killing it.
That's
almost get with Michael Jackson.
Okay, let me say it clearly. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just 2 different styles of dancing.
I'm disagreeing.
I am too.
What?
That's like saying if James Brown were to get a choreographer he would be able to dance with a group of people. Yeah, he doesn't need that. James kills it by himself, just like Prince kills it by himself.
Okay, dude, let's be real clear. There's no disrespect to Prince, but he is not in the league of a dancer of James Brown. Let's be clear on that. James Brown got stuff that people still stealing from today. And some of the stuff, you could look back at what James Brown did in the 50s and the 60s and be like, God damn, that dude can get down. It's better than what some of the people are putting out today, the Chris Browns and them. But I'm just saying, Prince, he can move. It was in rhythm. I'll give him that.
So let me ask you this: Did Cat choreograph his dance steps on the top of the piano for Girls and Boys?
Okay,
because he tore the shit out of that.
Okay,
that's my step.
But I will submit into evidence that I believe that was Jerome's choreography. Yes, Michael T. Yes.
Bye, Felicia.
I will submit that into evidence, counselor. That was Jerome. Jerome had more to do with that than Prince. I'm just gonna go there.
Did Cat choreograph his performance on the Little Red Corvette video?
I would give it. First of all, I think that was probably Tony M and the Game Boys that helped him out on that, because he was riding with.
I said the Little Red Corvette video.
Okay, that would be 1982. But clearly they were with him in 1983 because they were at the end of Purple Rain dancing up in the rafters doing Baby I'm a Star. So maybe he so they could teach him.
Stop while you're here. You stop while you're here. You know what you're talking about.
All right.
A little break dancing. I don't think Prince got that in him to just bust that freestyle. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. It was tight. But I don't think he got it in him.
All right.
Every time Prince has been by himself on stage dancing, he has tore the stage up.
I agree, but he's better with Cat.
All right, fellas. Before we get out, any other things you want to talk about that I've skipped or missed?
Do we want to talk about that heifer in Arizona? The one that was in the one that got arrested because she left her kids in the car.
Yeah.
For a job interview.
Yes, you know what? I actually have that up here. I forgot.
Yes, please bring that up.
Now she's trying to start a rap album or something?
Oh.
Yeah, here it's her name is Shanisha.
Oh, here we go.
Of course.
Taylor. All right, let me read this real quick. The mother who received widespread support and attention after leaving her children in a hot car while she interviewed for a job in Scottsdale, Arizona, allegedly spent thousands of dollars in donated money to finish her baby daddy's rap album.
Oh, no.
A former supporter claims. It says, basically, she had $114,000 from this donation, and a judge had told her in terms of, when her sentence for her leaving the kids in the car, she had to give $40,000 of the donations to a trust fund for her kids. Says, however, she failed to put that money in a trust fund by the deadline imposed by the judge. Prosecutors charged that Taylor was spending more than $4,000 a month on non-essential items and now a former supporter of hers says she even spent dough on a rap album. We had someone call my office and alert the attorney to the fact that she spent $6,000 at a music studio to finish her baby daddy's rap album. This is not what people gave her the money for.
I want to give her shit in the first place.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
That's why we don't need reparations.
Oh, here you go.
See,
Just like that Dave Chappelle skit.
He's right.
I'm rich, bitch. That's why we don't need the reparations.
Well, damn it.
Fucking minds.
Well, at least we'd spend our money. God damn it. We broke now. Spend it on shit. Let's spend somebody else.
The money's supposed to be spent on her kids.
Well, no, I'm talking about reparations. This is another story. Fuck that bitch. That is just like I can't believe. So you have most of the black nation showing you support and saying, look, what can having some empathy for her because of her situation. She tried to do the right thing, trying to get off welfare that And I'll go ahead and give you this cue that the GOP and the right wing conservatives will say, and they even put together a fund for her to help her get her life on track. And this bitch decides she want to help Ray Ray out. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Hey, that album better be dope.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
It better be good.
I mean, I don't want to hate on old boys. I don't want to hate on old boy because Game must have been Chris and be like, yo, I know we could put that money away for the kids, but I'm saying I got flows. Let's get this money. Let's get this paper. Let me flip that 110 and let's get millions, son.
Shit.
Like,
Hey, let me ask you, music critics. Good album for $6,000. Is that an oxymoron? Come on.
Well, the album could be dope, but how will we ever know anyway, right?
Listen, if Joshua Welton couldn't get it right, this brother ain't get it right.
Shots fired.
I'm about to say hustle and no. Just hustle and no.
I mean, I really just can't get down with this. Like, and the problem is that now when we've this thing has happened, if there is another situation of a female or a family that could really need our dollars to help get them out of a better situation, they're gonna be like, nah, remember that dumb chick in Arizona that got her baby daddy a record deal?
Yeah, that's a crazy story. So let's just wrap this thing up. As we normally do before we get out of here. Excuse me, we let everybody know where they can find us. Now you can't find Q because he's in that hotel somewhere, but Q Storm.
Say what?
Where can the positive-minded people social media? Where can they find you?
No, it's funny. Someone said to say what, and I am in a Holiday Inn.
That was me.
Hilarious.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, just saying, where can people find you online?
You can find me at qstorm/lightning strikes. Yes, big sexy. Lightning strikes me. You can find me on Facebook, Michael Jones. You can find me on Twitter at qstorm3476, and on YouTube, the real REEL qstorm.
All right, Aunt Pooh.
Find me on Instagram and Twitter. I got some of the finest things that go up on there, and I take on any and all challenges. Got a new column up on Film One Mania, the top 8 guests.
All right, sir. Moving on up, as always. Big Sexy and Sack, where can they find you, sir?
Oh, man, that was wrong. Twitter, Big Sexy and Sack, and I keep getting more followers. Thank you. That's pretty cool. And on Facebook, Mark Wiggins, and soon, yes, the office is about moved in, which means Sean Hill. I'm looking right at you. You know what's next. It's coming. It's coming.
That's right. You gave me a shout out on High Heel Boots too. I appreciate that. That's right. I still got beef with that. No, I ain't happy. We talked about that off air. Talked about the one song that I love the most.
Here, before you tell us where they can find you, Sean.
Dance off.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. What's your take on the Computer Blue? Now, hopefully you have this version. You heard the 14-minute version. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I've always said that the Purple Rain remaster album, CD, whatever, if it does not have the 14-minute version, hallway speech of Computer Blue, not interested. Not interested. I did want to not correct you, Mike, but the 14-minute version of Computer Blue was originally supposed to be on the album. They shortened it to make room for Take Me With You, unfortunately. So
that's a tragedy.
That's a mistake.
Whoa, no, come on. No slander for that.
Tragedy.
Nah,
Damn it, I
But
puberty because of Take Me With You, so.
That's a bad
But
visual.
you hit on a couple of things though, Mike, real quick that I love about it. The middle section of that was just basically just rocking out, and the kind of the part that they did in the movie, that doom that, and then the end where he's just doing the feedback on the guitar and the screams and the high. That is pure Prince magic right there. That is. Yeah. So again, if that's not gonna be, and Third Eye Girl, y'all better be rehearsing that track. I mean, if any song I want to hear from them from the back catalog has got to be that Computer Blue.
All right, and where can we find you online?
All right, you can find me in this ridiculous looking mustache that I'll be wearing for the next 2 weeks on Facebook, Sean Hill, and then Real Movie Talk, and then Twitter at Hill Street Views, and the blog hillstreetviews.blogspot.com, where hopefully this Friday I'll have a review of Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. If not, it'll be a contentless week, and then next week should have a review of Horrible Bosses Part 2. So keep a lookout for that.
All right, and before I do mine, want to read, I said I would do this. If you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, we'll definitely read it on the show. So I want to read this from Benjamin Vargo. He says, as a Prince enthusiast, it's nice to have somewhere to go to listen to people discussing everything Prince for his fans that could do that all day. Sorry. Mike and the gang are always entertaining and knowledgeable about the specific theme of the show. It's the only place I can go to actually learn something about the man and opposed to teaching the subject. So shout out to Benjamin. Thanks for leaving the review. iTunes. Again, you can find us on iTunes. Look up. You can look up two things. You can look up Prince Podcast, or you can look up Podcast Juice. Subscribe on there. Also find us on Stitcher Radio. You can listen to us on that. Also, the website is podcastjuice.net. Add it to your bookmarks. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Juice, and of course we are on Facebook. Look up Podcast Juice. Hey, with that, I want to say good night. Thank you for spending tonight with us. We will see you later on. Have a good one. Peace.